Questioner. Timothy Leary, doing research, wrote that at the time of puberty, up through that time, there is an imprint occurring on the DNA coding of an entity, and that, for instance, sexual biases are imprinted due to early sexual experiences, or some of the first sexual experiences of the entity. Does anything like this actually happen? Ra. I am Ra. This is partially correct. Due to the nature of solitary sexual experiences, it is in most cases unlikely that what you call masturbation has an imprinting effect upon later experiences. This is similarly true with some of the encounters which might be seen as homosexual among those of this age group. These are often, instead, innocent exercises in curiosity. However, it is quite accurate that the first experience in which the mind-body-spirit complex is intensely involved will indeed imprint upon the entity for that life experience a set of preferences. Questioner. Does the Orion group use this, shall we say, as a gateway to impressing upon entities, shall we say, preferences which could be of a negative polarization? Ra. I am Ra. Just as we of the Confederation attempt to beam our love and light whenever given the opportunity, including sexual opportunities, so the Orion group will use an opportunity if it is negatively oriented, or if the individual is negatively oriented. Questioner. Is there any emotional bias that has nothing to do with male-female sexual polarity that can create sexual energy buildup in an entity? Ra. I am Ra. The sexual energy buildup is extremely unlikely to occur without sexual bias upon the part of the entity. Perhaps we did not understand your question, but it seems obvious that it would take an entity with the potential for sexual activity to experience a sexual energy buildup. Questioner. I was thinking more of the possibility of the Orion group having influenced, say, certain members of the Third Reich who I have read reports of having sexual gratification from the observation of, in some cases, the gassing and killing of entities in the gas chambers. Ra. I am Ra. We shall repeat, these entities had the potential for sexual energy buildup. The choice of stimulus is certainly the choice of the entity. In the case of which you speak, these entities were strongly polarized orange ray, thus finding the energy blockage of power over others, the putting to death being the ultimate power over others, this then being expressed in a sexual manner, though solitary. In this case the desire would continue unabated, and be virtually unquenchable. You will find, if you observe the entire spectrum of sexual practices among your peoples, that there are those who experience such gratification from domination over others, either from rape, or from other means of domination. In each case this is an example of energy blockage which is sexual in its nature. Questioner. Would the Orion group, then, be able, shall we say, to impress on entities this orange ray effect, or did they? Is this the way that this came about? Is what I'm trying to get at, is this the way these concepts came about on this planet? If we go back to the beginning of third density, there must be a primal cause of this. Ra. I am Ra. The cause of this is not Orion. It is the free choice of your peoples. This is somewhat difficult to explain. We shall attempt. The sexual energy transfers and blockages are more a manifestation or example of that which is more fundamental than the other way about. Therefore, as your peoples became open to the concepts of bellicosity and the greed of ownership, these various distortions then began to filter down through the tree of mind into body complex expressions, the sexual expression being basic to that complex. Thus these sexual energy blockages, though Orion influenced and intensified, are basically the product of the beingness chosen freely by your peoples. This will be the final question, unless we may speak further upon this question, to clarify, or answer any short queries, before we close. Questioner. I just need to know if this then works through the racial memory, to infect the entire population in some way. Is this that sort of thing, then? Ra. I am Ra. The racial memory contains all that has been experienced. Thus there is some, shall we say, contamination even of the sexual, this showing mostly in your own culture, as the various predispositions to adversary relationships, or, as you call them, marriages, rather than the free giving one to another in the love and the light of the infinite Creator. Questioner. That was precisely the point which I was trying to make. Thank you very much. Not to tire the instrument, I will just ask, then, if there is anything we can do to make the instrument more comfortable, or to improve the contact. Ra. I am Ra. Please be aware that this instrument is somewhat fatigued. The channel is very clear. However, we find the vital energy low. We do not wish to deplete the instrument. However, there is a, shall we say, energy exchange which we feel an honored duty to offer when this instrument opens itself. Therefore, counsel we this instrument to attempt to assess the vital energies carefully before offering itself as open channel. All is well. You are conscientious. I am Ra. I leave this instrument hand you in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. Go forth, then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one Creator. Adonai.